Welcome to this week's Swarf and Chips. This is what's coming up on today's show, but it is our ever popular network takeover show. I love travelling in the car with Colin.
Yeah, I know, it's an absolute delight for you, isn't it? Yeah. We're at Clarent Precision in Leighton Buzzard. Great machine shop, great machines. More importantly, some fantastic components. So let's go and have a chat with John and Paul.
Right. Paul, thank you for having us here at your machine shop today. Now, what I really like about your company, and I've learned quite a lot just by talking to you, but you're really customer focused, aren't you? It's almost like you take for granted the fact that, well, you can make the parts, but you are really driven by your customer. What is it you feel that you do here?
I think the things that we do differently to a lot of other companies is that the customer really is the focus of everything we do. So rather than someone just sending us a drawing and then us banging out a quote and making it, what we like to do is actually get to know the customer, go and see them, run through exactly what they want. And this has helped us with quite a number of customers. For example, particularly with regards to development parts, that sort of thing. If, for example, there's been an issue with a drawing, we can always go back to them and say, actually, we don't think this is going to work because of whatever it might be. And that way, the whole process seems a lot more slicker and they get more of what they want at the end.
And I think honesty is the best policy. You're giving people the parameters and you're being honest, and you're only going to get repeat custom by that. Now, I've got to say, this machine shop is absolutely immaculate. How is it that you keep this machine shop so clean?
Them.
I think you've hired our staff as well, haven't you?
Colin, you missed a bit.
But in all honesty, it is really clean. You know, what are the benefits of keeping it looking so good?
I think the reason we like to keep the place clean is because, first of all, it looks professional. It gives a good impression, but also from a manufacturing point of view, we find it much easier to find all of the equipment that we need. We know exactly where everything is, so it speeds the whole process up, which therefore makes things cheaper for the customer. So it's easier for us and it's cheaper for the customer.
What are your next plans? Because you're very successful as a company. You know, you're in this machine shop now. You've got lots of machines. Investing in people, machines. Where are you going?
With regards to people, Ben has recently finished his apprenticeship, so he's now fully qualified and up and running. We've just taken on another apprentice. We've had him for 3 months now and he's doing really well. Going forward, we think the apprenticeship route is what we're going to continue to do. Everyone knows there's a massive skill shortage within the industry. So we think the best way of doing it is to get people in here who are young, keen to learn the industry, and basically then we can teach them sort of our way of doing things, and then they don't pick up any sort of bad habits, anything like that. So later on in the year, we're going to be looking at taking on at least one apprentice who we potentially got lined up, and then possibly again another one next year. With regards to equipment, again, we're looking at taking on probably another lathe later in the year, and then towards the back end of the year, possibly another mill.
So you are busy, aren't you? You really are. You know, it's the people and also the machine shop too.
Yeah.
In terms of the machine shop expansion, where are you going to go next? What are your future plans there?
Once we've got the extra machines on board, I think what we might look at doing is, at the moment, we work from about 6:30 till 5. And I think what we're going to look at doing is maybe doing a split shift, so maybe get a couple more people on board and then start earlier, finish later, and that way we don't have to move right away. It just means that we'll have extra capacity.
And I think other machine shops might be thinking in a similar route as you. So I want to see some parts, so let's go see.
I've had enough of this, mate.
Missed a bit over there, though.
It's not going to happen, mate. Let's talk about your parts. Thank you very much. Your hard task, Swap Masters. That's why you've got such a beautiful machine shop. But moving on, turn parts. Tell me, this is your turn and sell. Tell me about this.
Yeah, this is a aluminium piece we do. Do lots of various different sizes of this particular component. Relatively straightforward, but the thin-walled nature of it means you have to take that in consideration when you manufacture this particular part. So we make sort of special sort of fixtures that go inside it, stop it collapsing when you're holding it. But yeah, nice job, do lots of them.
Yeah, it is. Just to highlight, the really thin walls there, and you make your own fixturing as well.
We do, yeah. This particular bit, yeah.
And then this part here is winking at me as well. So all turned.
Turning and milling this particular bit, 2 ops in the lathe, has some screw cutting on the first op, a face groove, and then this particular side is pretty well sort of machined to size. Then it goes in the the mill, and then has all the various holes put in. Most of them are fairly straightforward, but this particular one's a compound angle, so we actually have to machine our own fixtures to create the angle.
So you've got a 4-axis machine.
You've got 4-axis machine. But in this particular instance, we only use 3-axis, but we make the jigs to create the angle. We need to put them in at the particular position and angle that the customer needs. But yeah, stainless steel, again, do quite a lot of these particular ones.
So aluminium, stainless steel, so you do all materials essentially?
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah,
We do the exotic stuff, we do the plastics, coppers, you name it, yeah, we'll have a go at it, yeah.
Okay, and that was turned but milled as well, so it's not, I think that's a nice way to go over to Gio, who's at your milling cell.
Okay.
I'm going to go and talk to Ben on how he manufactured this aerospace component. Ben, how are you, all right?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Ben, I just want you to tell me how you've manufactured this aerospace component, please.
Yes, well, all of the operations carried out on this were done on the mills, and we managed to limit it down to 3 operations in total. So the way that we'd do it is we'd mount this down to a huge mounting plate instead of the conventional holding it in a vise and all that sort of stuff. And we'd carry on by doing sort of pocketing, profiling, all of that in the first operation. And then on the second operation, we'd flip it over, continue to machine it to size, and then we'd actually cut the corner rads in using the corner rad tool, and it actually limits it down to a lot less time, and it's a lot more effective. And finishing off, we'd just come back to here, and then we'd hold it up on an angle plate and just machine out the top. And for the customer specifications, they generally want it just orbital sanded at the end just to give it a finish, really.
You make it sound quite simple, Ben. I can see quite some features here on this component that look quite complex in regards to the wall thickness over that kind of surface area. So it's about 1 mil wall thickness. So how did you overcome these issues?
Generally, it really all depends on some of the material we get through. But the way we go about it is we'd hit it very, very, very slow, and we'd have to take very small hits. But in some cases, depending on what the material is like, will determine how it reacts to being machined, really. In some cases, we've had it where it's bowed and it's taken off more than necessary. And but yeah, in some cases we can get away with it, and you know, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, you've overcome the problems, and it's great to see. Now, this is not the kind of component you can really hold with conventional work holding. So you're actually manufacturing your own fixtures as well?
Yes, it generally is just a massive aluminium plate that we hold onto the machine table, and then everything else is then clamped down and bolted to this. So it's a case of swapping clamps from each side, machining one side, moving the clamps to the other side, and then so on and so forth, just to overcome it all, really.
Now, this is really showing off the skill levels that you have here at Clarent Precision, and you were the apprentice here. You're not anymore, you're fully qualified.
I'm fully qualified now, yeah.
Now, I just want to ask you really, you know, what got you into engineering?
It was actually by accident, really. Initially, I went into a mechanics course, but due to complications and that, I never actually got into it. So it's about 2 weeks beforehand of actually getting into the course, and them saying that I couldn't do it led me to starting to look for other things. So 2 weeks beforehand, I was in a rush to try and find things, and they pointed me in the right direction towards engineering. Now, bear in mind, I never really knew much about it beforehand, and as soon as I walked into the workshop, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It was exactly down to what I wanted to do, because I was really hands-on, and I've always enjoyed making things, and then, yeah, it went from there.
That's fantastic. John's told me that he's looking to invest in even more apprentices. There's a big emphasis here and a big ethos and such pride in the work that you do here, but the cleanliness of the workshop as well. Yeah. And that's just such a great endorsement for the company, really.
Yeah, well, we have actually got another apprentice on board at the minute, but he's not here at the minute. But yeah, I mean, it gives me other opportunities to train him and teach him up, and you know, allows me to, you know, just recap on things, and along that, I learn other things from it in the same process. But yeah, it's
Ben, thanks for your time. I'm going to just have another quick look at this component here. This is a component that's been 3D scanned and milled with 3D milling operations. Now, the outside of this component looks quite simple, but when you look internally, you can see the kind of complexity that's involved and the kind of cutters that's involved inside that component. So this component really shows off the kind of work that can be done here at Clarent Precision.
I think we'll all agree that Clarent Precision, they're a great company. The ethos is brilliant within the company. And it's not just investment in machines, but people too. So, and the guys are extremely busy. Now, you're off to Flitwick Mill, aren't you, Colin? And we're going to meet you after with Andrea and the team at Honor Precision.
That's right.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Right, guys, seriously, getting us to sweep up and everything like that, I'm not coming back here again. All NGO.
MTD Network.
Right, I get sent to some strange places, and I'd like to clarify the reason I'm wearing this is because it's absolutely freezing. But as you can see, middle of the countryside, Bedfordshire, we're actually at Flitwick Mill where they're restoring this historic building. But why are we here? Well, it's an absolute feat of engineering, and one of our customers, Andy Sush from Bedford CNC, has been involved. So let's go inside and find out what they've been up to. Don, thank you for having us along to what I can say is an absolutely fantastic building. You were obviously doing some restoration on it, but can you give me a quick potted history, please?
Yeah, this is Flitwick Mill. We're standing in the stone floor, so we've got 3 pairs of milling stones. And this is a mill that goes back to the Doomsday Book, so about 1089. And you can trace its history back clearly to 1720, and we believe this part of the mill comes from 1720, so these 4 bays. And there's an identical mill to this in Ford End, Ivinghoe, 15 miles away. The Goodman family were the resident millers for the next 200 and odd years. In fact, the last miller died in 1987. His son was the councillor locally, and he retired relatively recently.
So the mill itself sort of run into disrepair. You got it in 2014?
2012, actually.
Okay.
So we took it on in 2012 and spent 3 years with the planners deciding that we really did love the building, and they didn't like that to start with, but hey, they got the hang of it, and we want to live in a mill. So it's not a Barrett house, it is a mill. And we're perfectly happy to stand our gin and tonic on the milling equipment.
On the 3 tonnes, because when I heard 3 tonnes, I thought we were going to a local pub, but that's not right. These are part of the actual milling facility.
Correct. And the ton is the name for that little structure there. We have 3 pairs here, so there are 2 stones under each one. The top stone is lifted from the bottom one by a sort of jacking mechanism, and that gives it clearance. And when there isn't enough clearance, it grinds to a halt. There are lots of milling terms that come from that sort of era.
Yeah, we heard you mentioned Lyndsey earlier, is that right? Damsel in distress?
Well, yes. There is a little 4-posted article that's connected to the centre of a rotating stone, and it rattles. It's called a damsel, and it rattles on the
Chatters a lot.
well, ladies chatter, so that's how it works. And there was a lovely mechanism which was a strap, which would detect whether the thing was full of corn or not. And when it ran out of corn, the strap would elongate slightly, and the damsel would hit on a little bell, and the bell would indicate that particular damsel in distress.
So just getting great bit of history there. What we're going to do, we've got 3 tonnes there, but we're going to pop downstairs and see how Andy from Bedford CNC has been involved with the water wheel and the mechanics there. So great feat of engineering restoration, and we'll look forward to coming back when it's up and running and the welcoming dinner.
Well, we're going to launch the water wheel in the next month or so that's a good thing. And in practice, the water wheel in its day would have driven all this equipment plus more.
We look forward to seeing it. Don, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Andy, we've been having a chat with Don. Fantastic project this is. Now, I know you like your milling, your turning, but this is proper milling. So what's your involvement?
Well, Don came to us, wanted to couple up the gearbox so he can make electricity for the building. What we've done, we've made a big fly disc to go onto the flywheel, coupled with a shaft which was welded at the back, big counterbore so it can be welded, and it's been bolted on to the shaft, to the flywheel, and it fits on the gearbox.
So nice, easy project.
Not too bad. And on the other end of the wheel is this shaft is a coupling that we had to make because the shaft was really badly worn. That's been slid on and fixed in place, and there's a bearing on the other end to make the water wheel really nice and smooth.
Okay, so I know you like, as I said, the normal standard project and things like that. This is just something different. You like a challenge.
Yes, we do like a challenge, and such a fantastic building, and it dates back so far. And to be involved in such a project is a wonderful thing for me personally and for the company.
And you mentioned it's now working. Let's put you to the test. See it working.
Okay.
Right, as that's spinning around, what I'm going to do is go and find my damsel in distress. So let's go and have a chat with Lyndsey.
MTD Network.
So I'm here with Andrea and we're going to meet the team today. So Andrea, we're at Untitled Precision. I've got to say, just driving up to this company, it is on point. It looks brilliant inside and, of course, from the outside as you drive up. Now, Untitled Precision, what is it that you do?
We started off as a honing company going back 25, 30 years, and we expanded then into deep hole drilling, deep hole boring and CNC turning.
So let's go back to honing. What is it, just in case nobody who's watching knows?
It can vary depending on the application, but generally the process itself is removing minimal amounts of material from round bores to either achieve a tolerance or a surface finish that can't be achieved by machining alone.
And are you the only company that will do this in the UK, or is there a USP that you follow?
No, there are other companies that can do honing. Some specialise in very small hand honing, some specialise in large hydraulic honing. We tend to cover most of the bases in between. Right. So at the end of the day, the thing that makes us special is the fact that we have everything, all services under one roof.
Okay, so let's go on to the next service then, deep hole drilling. Yeah. What are your capabilities here and what is it?
We tend to start at 3mm up to around about 20-25mm on deep hole drilling, gun drilling. It's referred to as both terms, which confuses people, but usually lengths up to 1 to 2 metres. After that, we tend to use deep hole boring because it's much more efficient and cost effective for the customer.
Okay, so what are your capabilities, but on the boring side then?
From 20mm diameter up to 250mm diameter, 3 metres long.
And so what industries is it that you cover really? Because, you know, I can see there's quite a lot of parts around.
Yeah, every single industry. Medical, aerospace, hydraulics, defence, oil and gas. The majority of the work at the moment, thanks to the upturn in the oil price, is oil and gas again.
So is that the type of work you're kind of looking toward, or are there other industries that you're open to?
We're open to any industry. If you need precision tubular type components, then we're your people, starting from 2mm diameter all the way through to 250. So if you've got anything that needs 2-axis machining and a hole through it, we're the people to speak to.
Now, if I was a purchaser coming up to your company, how could you kind of sell your company to me? Because you are unique. So really, what's your USP? What kind of drives you?
I think in this company in particular, it's service. The customer drives us. At the end of the day, what the customer needs, we try and deliver and exceed above their expectations. We have a lot of procedures and processes in place that make us different to our competitors and to other companies within this industry. Things, for example, like automated order acknowledgements, automated notifications the minute that the job's completed. So it's things that take the stress away from placing an order with a subcontract company.
That's kind of leading into Industry 4.0, isn't it? It's the future, really.
But we've been doing it for the last 10 years.
So, and you're busy?
Yes. Thankfully, this last 12 months, we've seen a distinct upturn. We've had a couple of quieter years, and I think most of the industries sort of felt that, particularly if they were specialists in oil and gas. But thankfully, you know, we're starting to see a return to the good old days, as they say.
Yes. Is there any other facilities that you could sell to us in a sense that, you know, are you milling here as well? Are there other capabilities alongside what we've already mentioned?
We tend to stay away from milling, to be honest, apart from a little bit of tool room milling and things that we need internally, because the majority of our customers and the people we're supplying into are machinists. So we don't want to go treading on our customers' toes.
No.
So, but we do also offer roller manufacture. We do a little bit of dynamic balancing as and when customers require it. And also, occasionally, we will do some external honing, which again, we don't tend to advertise, but if the customer wants a particular surface finish, then we'll, yeah.
And you say you're a one-stop shop, so can you explain this to everyone?
Yeah, basically we can supply material, saw it, face it, drill it, bore it, hone it, turn it, thread it. And so again, if it's a tubular type component, in addition to that, that sounds quite limiting. We do have a CNC gun drilling machine which will gun drill mould plates, block work, cylinders, that type of thing.
There's a lot going on here. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. And what we're going to do is maybe go see some parts, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Looking at the components that you do here, some people may look at the components and what you do and look at them and think, this is simple, this is easy to manufacture this type of components, but there's more to it than meets the eye.
Absolutely. You have a number of factors. One of the biggest complaints, I think, especially with deep hole boring, even from the engineers, once you press the button and the head starts cutting, that's it. You have no control other than hitting stop. So if you have a tooling failure or the material's not quite the way you expected it to be, that's a hell of a lot of material that could be in trouble. So you have to make sure that you are spot on with your setup.
I mean, over a 3 metre length, if the bore was to drift, how would you overcome a problem such as that?
Well, there is a standard within the industry that usually a millimetre per metre you will get drill wander. What we always recommend is that customers start with oversized material, we then do all the bore work and then we'll turn the bore true. So the outside diameter then will run perfectly concentric to the inside diameter. However, certain materials, obviously, bigger diameter material means an extra expense, but it does guarantee quality. But if you look at our website, we do have a number of technical guides that explain what we do to make sure that you get the quality you need.
And this is such a skill to effectively to know how to overcome these issues and problems that you can and will incur doing parts of this size.
Yeah, but engineering's all about learning. Engineering's all about going through learning curves. And we've done that over the last 20 years, which is why we're so good at what we do.
And you never stop learning, do you, really?
No.
I know that you've done some blogs regarding the honing and the deep bore drilling, so we want people to go and have a look at these blogs.
Yeah, absolutely. We've written them to actually take away some of the hidden aspects of our processes, because customers need to understand that when we quote, we're quoting for the whole job. We're making sure they're getting the quality at the end, not just on our process.
And you're growing, you're looking to invest in more machinery, and it's such a significant investment in machinery and equipment, tooling, etc., to even be able to do the work that you do in the first place.
Absolutely. Our next investment's another 3 metre lathe. We need to expand the turning capacity. We can't keep up with demand at the moment, so we're working extras on night shift and basically making sure that we continue to keep our lead times as short as possible.
You've certainly got lots of USPs. There's not many people who've got the capabilities that you have here, and congratulations for doing such a good job, and long may it continue.
Thank you.
Graham, today we've seen boring, skiving, honing, great components and highly accurate, because you've got things like aerospace 9100 Rev C at the moment, going to Rev D. It needs inspection now, so what are you actually doing here?
Basically, we're inspecting all the parts through various equipment that we use. And because my trade was Rolls-Royce, I've come to work for Honal. Because of their large depths and diameters, I'm able to check out the sizes using the relevant equipment that's given to us.
So it's usual measurement equipment, CMM, so you've got your mitotoids, for example, here, but you've got that expertise in terms of the longer and sort of cylindrical tubular parts.
Yes, we have, and we use extended bars tooling for those. They're all calibrated in such a way that we can actually gain the required tolerances that any of our customers are asking for.
Now, say customers, aerospace, supercars, F1, things like that, quite demanding customers?
Very demanding. We get to stages where they will bring a job into us in the morning and they probably expect it to be finished by the afternoon so they can actually put it on their appliances.
You normally have it ready by lunchtime just in case.
We try to, but not always.
Graham, thanks. Just the final piece of the puzzle, Honal. Brilliant. Cheers.
Okay.
Well, what a day we've had. It's been absolutely amazing. We've seen 3 fantastic machine shops, engineering companies. Lyndsey, hopefully I haven't traumatised her too much with my driving. Better get Gio out the boot of the car. But Clarent Precision, some fantastic components. Flitwick Mill, what can I say, dating back to 1089. Some great work there by Andy Seuss. And last but not least, Andrea let us through the door at Honal. I say that because I've not been here before. What a fantastic facility. So boring, skiving, honing, anything like that, get in contact with them. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all soon. Come on, Gio, let's get you home.